Geri McCritty from Pava Gallery, and I'm here at LCTV, Channel 66, downtown Lancaster. You're watching Shining a Light. Today's topic is going to be spirituality, which is a very important topic to me. And I'm going to be discussing it with a good friend of mine by the name of Sindy Pollard. And we connected together. She's a creative, and we connected together through artistic creativity, spirituality. And I felt this would be a very important topic to share with you who, the viewers, and if it interests you, maybe you can learn from something. Maybe something can inspire you. So Sindy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Geri?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers, let them know who you are, where you're from.
My name is Sindy Pollard. I work at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster, and I'm originally from New York. I've been in Lancaster for 22 years. I can't believe it. 22 years I've been here. And I've found my community here, and Geri's become a part of that. I met her through a mutual friend and was introduced to Pava Gallery, and my life has been grounded since.
Yes.
So now I'm here.
Shout out to that mutual friend, Gracie Berry.
I miss
My
Gracie so
sister.
much.
Yes. So, you're creative. What is that about? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think I consider myself a jack of all trades, kind of, and a master of absolutely none of them. I've always cycled through different mediums, all kinds of different things, and I get interested in something and I do that for a few years, and then I get interested into something else, and I either combine it or I move on. And so what that means is my craft closet is packed. And I have a lot of things, but it also means that I get to meet a lot of different people and really explore myself through that.
Right.
I don't think that making things is just about the end product for me. It's
Right.
about the process of getting from using my hands, my mind. It's kind of a meditative state. So
Yeah.
all of these different kinds of making is kind of my way of expressing
Right.
who I am. And even if nobody ever sees it, it's the process that's important to me.
And that's what drew us together, that spirituality part of the process of creating.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you like to create? Like an example of...
Well, since I've been in Lancaster, the first thing that in New York, I didn't have time to create because the life was so infused with strife. Like, survival was, that was creative. You had to be
Right.
creative to survive there.
Right.
But now, once I've come here and I had a chance to relax, the first thing I started doing was a natural progression through survival was creativity through cooking. So I would do started making jams and jellies. So if there are people who have been in Lancaster a while and you're familiar with Hidden Treasures, for a minute I was the jam lady. Like if somebody said the jam lady, that was me. And I made like banana and pineapple and all kinds of flavors that Amish people don't make, because you don't compete with the Amish when it comes to jams. So, so I would make all of that kind of stuff. And then I went to, after that, I think it was just dabbling. And then I went to jewelry making, which there's, I did that for a good while.
So jam making and jewelry making.
I know, because I just I did the jam making, and then I ended up with a stand at Hidden Treasures, and I decided that I needed more stuff in my things.
Yeah.
So I became interested in antiquing, and I would sell antiques, and I just had a picture on my Facebook that was of my first ever gramophone that I sold, that you had to wind up and everything.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I want some more stuff in my booth, and my friends started making jewelry, so I started making jewelry, and then I started on that for a while, and I couldn't just make jewelry. I had to do the littlest, tiniest beads.
You had to go complicated, right?
I had to make sure that it was like the toughest thing, and then from there, after I did that, I just kind of took a break for a while. I did some crochet and painting, just like just dabbling, and then now I'm sewing. So
Okay.
now that's where
Okay.
I am.
Okay. So, how do your process in doing these things, making jams, making jewelry, the steps that you go through, how much of the spirituality part do you infuse in that while you're on that journey, just thinking about the creation process?
Yeah. Well, I think that the first part of just wanting to do it is spiritual. Just the idea of wanting to make something beautiful in the world. You know, I think that's the first step is identifying that that's what your aim is. Even if it doesn't turn out that way, it's the process of practicing. Nobody's ever good at anything right away. So practicing making something beautiful in the world can translate over into any avenue. So I just infuse it every step of the way. And part of that was like I have a program called Spirituality of Making at the church that I attend, Unitarian Universalist Church.
Say that again, Unitarian
Universalist Church of Lancaster.
That's right here on Chestnut Street.
On
right?
Chestnut Street, 538
that.
West Chestnut Street.
Yes.
And we have services every Sunday at 10.
Yes.
But I don't always necessarily attend the services. For me, like I was saying, I do the program Spirituality of Making, and that's a program run through the church that I got a grant for, and we offer a spiritual journey through making. So you wouldn't just come and do scrapbooking, you'd come and there'd be a directive like, you know, let's take some time to remember when you were little and when you felt safe, and when did that end, and let's add something to your collage that adds that. And you know, so whatever the program is, it's always a spiritual element to it, so that somebody, when you're done, that you feel like you've had something, some connection to what you've made. It's not just something that's pretty. And it may be pretty, but it may not. And isn't that life? And isn't that what spirituality is? Isn't that connecting to your humanity? So that's how I found a way to bring it into my spiritual life, how to bring creativity into my spiritual life. That's part of how I celebrate my spirituality, is to infuse it.
Okay. So, do you, I'm sure with that comes meditation?
There's
Is that
sometimes, I think that you're an artist, so you know, there's a point at which you working on your art becomes a meditative state in itself. You don't meditate necessarily prior to doing the art. Some people do, I'm sure, but
For me, it comes that way. For me, as an artist, when I meditate, I see visions.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I see visions, and some of them are strong, some of them are like, oh, it's just wither away. But if I see those visions and it becomes stronger in my meditation, it's like, all right, I wonder what this would be like on canvas or in sculpture. So that's where the spiritual part comes in, you know, for me.
Yeah, it's funny because like I'm such a mediocre at whatever I do. Most of what I do, except the jams, I was pretty head on that. But and it's because I don't have such strong, it shows in your work how impactful your work is. It would make sense that you would have this, you know, pre-sense of what's going to happen, you know, like, you know, some sort of planning and meditation on it prior to you doing it, whereas I just go with whatever ends up happening happens. You've actually, that's what makes you a professional artist.
Same for you.
Oh, well, I wouldn't consider myself professional, but I do consider myself maybe a professional dabbler.
So, but then how long have you been doing this?
Doing
the art, the creative
thing all my life, you know, like, you know.
So you've been doing this all your life. So that gives you alone. You're a professional. You know, it's like in your own, you know, in your own space.
I think what would make me happy is to think that I could facilitate art. If I could be a professional at facilitating it, like, I don't know if anybody knows, I mentioned the location of the church. Geri did the mural there.
Yes.
And facilitating that was a struggle, but simultaneously the end result of having somebody who work I love and respect be on the building where I go to worship every day, well, not every day, but when the building I go to worship is very powerful to me. And so it's like, yeah, so that's in one way that it comes full circle for me.
Okay. So how much do you connect that part of you with UUCL? Where do the two merge for you?
That's a great question, Geri. I think that it's a place where I think it's a place full of possibilities. Because of UUCL, I was able to get a grant to do spirituality of making. I was able to have someone who I respect do a mural on our church. I wasn't able to. The group that, that group was able to do that. But this UUCL allows potential to thrive. It is an access point. It's a place where the minister supports all the different beliefs, because everybody there just has their own feelings about how to connect with their spirituality. And our minister allows us to do that. He helps us on that journey.
Yeah.
And so since my thing is being creative, and there's a lot of people who go there who love to be creative, we have things like spirituality of making, we have artful living, which, it's one of those groups that flare up for a cause, and then sometimes they fade back into the background. It's a very vibrant community where I can really experiment and play with all these things I love. I can do all of that.
Yes.
Because UUCL allows me to have the space to, I can, sometimes the funding, the emotional support, the people there are supportive.
Yes,
it's a very good place to grow. It's fertile ground.
So again, on the spiritual level, as far as the Christian, do you consider yourself a Christian, or
I do not.
You do not? Okay.
But that's another thing about this place. I feel like I'm doing a commercial for them, but
it's
what I
okay.
love about them is
great
that
church.
If you have a church that is called a church, and you know that there are atheists there, what you know about that church is that they're truly a community.
Yeah.
They're truly a community that's doing good work, because an atheist runs from a church. And you can go there and say, on any given Sunday, and how many of you are atheists, and you will have raised hands. They are there because that is a fertile community. There are Christians there. There are people from all kinds of backgrounds, Buddhists, some religions I've never heard of. The mural in the sanctuary has all the religions just spinning there for anyone to see,
And I can attest to that. I'm a member. So the murals, the symbols drew me.
Yeah.
And just what you're saying is they don't see that religion. It's like I went in just like what you just said. I went in with myself.
Right.
My heart, my spirituality. I sat there and I did my own thing to the Almighty Creator, which is for us all, right? One God.
Right.
Yeah.
However you see that, and it's okay. It's like encouraged. You'll find your tribe there if that's what you're looking for. So that's how I connected. It's very, it's interesting to sit here and talk about them there, because I'm always so entrenched in it, because I also work there, which is not normal. Usually a member is not.
How does that work out for you? Working there, and then, how do you...
It took a little time to get the boundaries right,
Okay.
but I think they're there now. And so then, because of that, it's the most fulfilling job I've ever had.
Wow.
Because the fact that we finally found our boundaries, it took a while, because I didn't know mine, because I was a member, and I can get pretty passionate. So I would have an idea and get very passionate about it, and everyone there, not everyone, many of the people there can be passionate. But now that we have better boundaries and understanding of how our systems work underneath our new minister, Reverend Howard Dana, it seems like everything's settled down. It's a very beautiful place to work. It works very well.
So from what I'm hearing is you have a space where you can bring in that feeds your creativity.
Absolutely.
it feeds your spirituality,
Absolutely.
which are the two main important things in our creative life.
Absolutely.
And having a good time too.
And having a good time. I go to Papa Gallery for a good time.
Yeah. So, on the personal level, to where you have become today in your life, someone who's out there trying to find a way or is lost, what good word of advice would you tell a brother or a sister, especially from the African American side?
Oh, wow. You know, Lancaster is a hard place to be an African American. You really have to find
That's why
community.
I asked that question.
Yeah, you have to find community. You know, I have Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster, but it is although they welcome everyone, because I'm there and you're there, so they welcome everyone. It's not predominantly a space for people of color. So when I need that, I go to Papa Gallery. You know, when I want to really just relax in the culture that I grew up in, you know, even though like you're from Liberia, I don't know where everybody's from different places, but when you come there, there's some common ground. So I think that when you're looking for spirituality, you have to find community. It doesn't even, no matter who you are, what you are. If you're out there doing it by yourself, I'm not a church goer. You know, I was never a church goer. I wasn't raised religious in any way, and so now to be an adult, the reason that I joined the church is so that I could have community, because I couldn't do it. I did it for like 10 years and I wasn't thriving. As soon as I joined the church, even though I did it very haphazardly, like, you know, I guess I'll go here. It has enriched my life more than tenfold. You make connections with people professionally, emotionally, socially, on every level. There's nothing that I want to do that I have to do by myself, unless that's what I want, you know. And so I think that if you're doing this out here by yourself, you're on the internet and all of that, that's fine. But if that's all you're doing, you're missing a vital part of growing spiritually. You can't do that. You just can't do it by yourself.
Yes, you can't. And what do you think one of the solutions could be? Well, like we just made the statement, like black folks in Lancaster are kind of hard. So what? I experience that sometimes as an immigrant. You know, I love my black folks. I love my white folks.
Right.
I love people.
Folks. Yeah, I love folks.
But what do you think that needs to be done by UCL that can help? Encourage African American to step out of their box, to want to come to check out a service.
Okay, so I'm gonna either get fired or not for this. I don't know. Probably not.
Hopefully not.
But
Please don't.
I won't be fired, because you know they're not that kind of people. But honest to goodness, all I can say is if you come, you belong there. That is what we've been saying for the last year. You belong there. And there are people who've been there longer, and they might feel some sense of ownership over that space. It's not their space. It's your space if you come. And I can attest to this because I took over my corner. You know, I decided I want to do stuff, and I've never been told no. You know, they tried. Some people, well, maybe not. And I go, why not? And if they don't have a good answer, I do it anyway. It is once you're a member of this church, you can do what you want to do. You become integrated into that. Yeah, there are going to be people who aren't great. There are going to be people who are wonderful. But overall, it is a supportive, fertile, nurturing community. And I hope that more people of color come, because the more that there are, the richer the environment, you know, So that's my hope.
And we're not trying to recruit.
No,
but we're
I'm
just
not
telling it like it is.
Like
you know, we're
I'm just saying, like, there's
want
this
you
whole
guys
big,
to come out sometimes. You know, venture to different churches.
Yeah, there's this whole big building there, just waiting to be used by members and you know, have programs that are facilitated. There is so much that can be offered. And I am just really hopeful that we can increase our community.
Yes.
The more people of color there, the better it's going to be for
Yes.
the people who are coming, the people who are already there.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, I'm very excited about that. And like any color, it's great for, you know.
It's just great. It's
You
just
know,
great.
yeah.
Good for the soul. Good food for the soul.
And I, you know, while we're talking about that, I like when I say that you can make a space. I've asked you to have this up.
Yes.
I have Miss Wendy Lee. She's doing an exhibition.
Shout out to Wendy.
Wendy,
Congratulations.
oh my gosh, I'm so proud of Wendy. She's a local artist. She graduated from Millersville,
Okay.
and this is going to be her first show.
Aw.
It's it's a limited show, but it's going to be a beautiful experience, and I'm just so really happy. It's like people like Wendy. She's not a member yet, but it's
Right.
this opportunity for
Yes,
her. It's not like
yes.
it took her time and her energy,
Aw.
but it's a place for her to display, and we're always open to new artists. So I'm
Yes.
so excited to have her. And any new artist, like that's how we have Geri, who was a new artist to us, but
Yes.
she's been an artist for many years.
Yes.
You know, we are a church who absolutely loves art. You know,
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Cindy.
you so much, Geri.
Thank you
This
for
has been
being
great.
here. This was a wonderful discussion.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
And who knows what's going to happen next in the future, but I'm sure it's going to be good.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're watching Geri McCritty, Shining a Light from Pava Gallery, LCTV 66. I just said that all backwards, but you get it. You know, this is Shining a Light. Thank you.